Okay, so that's Upper Falls Road. We just walked across a section that was flooded during Irene. As you explained about the beavers were hanging out by the road, in the water by the road. And that used to be the old riverbed. And you said after the 72 flood, the Army Corps did what?
Yeah, the Army Corps came in and rerouted the river, straightened it out along this area of 106.
Okay.
From right about where the slide is where it came back in. And you can see further down where it used to come back in.
All right. Let's walk a little closer and see what's what. All right, so here we are back to the river.
Yeah, so, well, you can see the silt, where the silt and sand came in across here.
Yep.
This was pretty much solid water from the road.
So this was all ponded from that road. Was that a quarter of a mile? And there's James coming to see us too, I think. And that's all this lovely knotweed. Oh. Let's keep on trucking here, and you can see, yep, there's our handy dandy big yellow machines across the way. I'm actually nervous about seeing what it looks like. Saw the photos, but I'm betting they don't do it justice.
I think we've almost gotten used to it.
Yeah.
So this, of course, over there was a beaver pond of sorts.
Okay, before the flood?
Yeah, and, you know, this was all grass.
Yep. Oh, and I see your birch flagpole. That's where you guys had scouting stuff.
That's right, the flagpole's still standing.
And the scouts have pretty much adopted this area to clean up and
this is our
do
official
activities.
campground.
That's fantastic. Now, is this your property itself?
It is.
That's terrific, though.
It's a good spot.
Yeah, now we've got about 10 inches of silt down here.
Yeah.
Sandy Beach.
Yeah, they're kind of excited about that.
What do we have for critters? Is this like neighborhood dogs wandering through?
Probably deer. Not a lot of dogs.
Oh, yeah, that looks like it might be a deer print. Wow, yeah, eventually this should regrow, but... So the river kind of meandered through here, or did it go...
It
curved...
It came in through the field.
Curved back there.
To the north of us. And, you know, the heaviest flow of it went through the old riverbed. But then all through here, I mean, you can see how the sand...
Yeah.
It was just coming over the bank and washing that out.
Wow. Oh, my Lord, you can just see all those trees just bent right over.
Yeah, so that was our island. It's right now not an island. The plan is for it to become an island again.
Is that what the plan is by the people who are renovating the stream bed?
Kristen Higgins.
Yeah,
She's
you mentioned that.
Project engineer. And apparently they do need permits now.
Yep, they've made it so they need...
applying for those and was hoping to have those by Thursday or Friday.
Now, what is the thinking? Did she get into that behind why they need to...
I mean, this is part of what I alerted them to when we went through that whole first process.
Power of water right there.
Yeah. When we went through the whole first process about the slide, I said, how can you guys start working up there when you haven't even looked like right down here? Because the river used to come through right here.
Right.
That
right
tree,
that
tree was about 8 feet off the bank of the river. And it kind of swept through, on the other side of the island.
This was
here.
all grassy, etc.?
This was all river, all in front of us. And then we had, knotweed and weeds and some smaller trees along the edge.
Wow.
And so my concern, you can see how there's the big rock up there and the culvert that comes down underneath Route 106 with the rocks beneath it. And we lost a lot of material and a lot of trees along that area.
Mm-hmm.
And I was concerned that with that faster channel, everything going to that side, that could be an issue.
Yep.
So their plan is to reinforce, not to go all the way up like they did with the stone wall, but just to do some larger boulders across the bottom on the far side to bolster that, and then reopen this side and restore it to what, closer to what it was pre-storm.
Just within the last 30 years or so.
Well, yeah.
Because ultimately to restore it, they would have had to go all the way back to the road.
Yep.
Wow. That must have been astounding, and if not a little bit scary to watch as all this stuff came tumbling through. I can imagine,
Well, we
James,
couldn't-
you were saying about the booming noises that you were hearing as it was rolling these huge rocks. That has to have been just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it would have been cool to have had a vantage point over here.
Yeah.
We walked up to the bridge,
Right.
but otherwise it was just what we could see from the road.
Well, yeah, you don't want to be
No, we
getting
weren't
anywhere
wading.
near it.
We weren't wading across the.
Yeah. Well, there was even footage of people up on 106, and they were watching the pavement drop down in. Like, back away.
Right.
Don't be there. Can we get a little closer?
Oh,
or
yeah, absolutely. Down further along this way, there's like some crazy stinky red water.
Okay. Yeah, let's sample that stuff. And what I can do is we can sample it for the bacteria, but then the rest of my sample bottle we can drop off at AquaCheck and have Scott Bradley check it out. And the brat can pick up the tab on that, because I think we need to learn what the heck's going on.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe $25 for metals and things like that.
Okay, that's not too bad.
No, he's been awesome, in fact, about a lot of other samples that we've sent. He may just decide, you know what, don't worry about it, I got it covered. Because it's a public health issue.
Right.
He may be able to do that, so I'll check with him. Wow. So this would have been river.
Yep.
It's amazing the power of the water. It just does what it wants to do because it has needs. It's got to have this sediment and the gravel and the rocks and stuff. Oh yeah, that's the slide up there. So pretty much all of that stuff is what we're standing on, I would almost...
Yeah, and everything from further up.
Right.
There's like a big concrete base for a parking lot light post.
Where's that at?
Over that tan thing.
Oh yeah.
Little.
Yeah.
We cleaned up most of it.
You guys did a wonderful job. Alright, so I guess if you want to take me to the water sample, I'll pause this.
Well, and this would have been the stream bed still, this area.
Oh, this would have been where
Yeah,
the...
this would have been
Okay.
stream bed.
And that's the river area that we saw a moment ago with the yellow machine in the background for perspective.
Sort of more sandy part, or we can go back the way we...
Alright, well let's take a peek there. So this is...
do the far side of the island.
Okay. So this is the rusty colored stuff under the surface, and that got poked with a stick and breaks up pretty well, almost like tomato sauce or tomato paste in water. There's an oily sheen on the top too, which is not surprising, but what is surprising is there are the occasional little tiny itty bitty fish, little fry down in there, that are hanging around in the pools. Maybe my nose has been messed up by my coffee this morning, but I'm not really noticing a discernible smell.
I can smell it when I'm right by it, but it's not as bad as it was.
Okay.
Certainly.
Could you classify the smell at all? Like sewage or...
It has a certain sewage kind of odor to it.
Okay, so had...
And not right after the flood, but after the first rain after the flood, that was when it smelled the most like sewage. What was still
yep,
coming through
yep.
the old riverbed.
Yep.
Right, I guess maybe
Actually, right
5
here
or
I got a
6
whiff of
days
that.
later.
Just a slight, almost like old seaweed sewage type smell. Yep.
Not as pungent as it was. I kind of hadn't been coming out and hanging out over here because it didn't take long before you get a little overwhelmed by it.
Yeah. I would think so. Lots and lots of cobble that belongs on the bottom of the river. Yeah, and there's more of that stuff. And that's completely in contrast to the sickly green of the water on the other side. That's quite the berm right there. Natural berm, but a berm nonetheless. And just to give perspective of where we just were, that's the upstream section that it The river normally went on this side of what used to be this island, where the trees are. And there's our handy dandy big yellow machine up on the bank. Moving on. So there's the river itself. How high up, any idea how high up it might have been on that side?
Well, you can see the undercutting.
Yeah.
I would say it was quite a bit higher than that.
And it didn't have to go that much higher because it was just chewing away at that embankment.
You think about the level of the meadow, and how deep the water must have been over there to collect all the silt and rocks over there. Draw a line over there.
Yeah. Heading into the sun down here. Now there's more. That's not stuff that they piled up at the end, is it? At the far.
Yeah, down around the corner. That's right. Where
Oh,
the
all right.
sort of parking lot and some of it. I mean, that was piled up there, but they've come in and taken a lot of that out and moved it.
Tractor tracks right up there. Okay, so Upper Falls Road is to our right about a quarter of a mile, barely.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Somewhere it was, foot deep.
Yeah. Yeah, you have absolutely no clarity at our house at all. Down by, where are we? About a mile and a half, I think, from where it empties into the Connecticut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just this greenish color actually looks healthy compared to the gray-brown green that we've got at our house.
That's what we had.
A lot of time involved to wait for the sediment to settle out and literally flush.
Yeah.
So that's 106 up above over there. Okay. All right, I think I'll call it quits right there.